Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to explore something really fascinating, a journey in divine guidance that takes us from the heated public square of defiance all the way to the quiet, intimate miracle of our own creation. We'll see how these two very different worlds are actually deeply, beautifully connected.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. I'm so glad you could join me. We're about to unpack some incredible wisdom from these sacred verses and hopefully discover what they can teach us about finding strength, showing mercy, and seeing the amazing signs that are hidden in plain sight all around us.
All right, let's jump right in. Our first section tackles what might seem like a real paradox. How can a prophet whose whole message is about mercy also act with such firmness when faced with so much hostility? To really get this, we need to imagine ourselves back in Mecca. So, picture this. We're in Mecca. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is dealing with some pretty intense opposition. And yet, the revelation describes his actions as coming from a place of protection. Verse 74 hints that his firmness wasn't about personal anger or retaliation, it was about preventing something much, much worse. So what exactly was he trying to shield society from? Well, this brings us to two crucial concepts, fasad and fitna. See, fasad isn't just a small problem. It's talking about systemic corruption, the kind of decay that can completely unravel a community. And fitna, that describes major trials, chaos that can shatter social order and rock people's faith. Once you understand that, you realize the prophet's firmness was actually a form of mercy. It was a necessary shield to protect everyone from this kind of widespread harm. Okay, so we've seen the prophet's compassionate, protective stance. But what kind of reaction did he get? This next part is all about the kind of denial he faced and the divine perspective on that whole situation. You know, what's fascinating is that verse 75 immediately zooms out and gives us the bigger picture. This rejection in Mecca, it wasn't some new, unique thing. The verse draws a clear line to previous communities, like Bani Israel, who also received amazing blessings but ended up divided. Some got it, they embraced the truth, and others didn't. It's really a timeless pattern of how we humans respond to guidance. Now, check out the absolute confidence in this challenge from verse 76. When they demand proof, the prophet is told to basically say, look, if you're so positive I'm wrong, then go ahead and pray for my destruction. It's just a masterful way to respond, isn't it? It completely flips the script and puts the burden of proof right back on his opponents, kind of exposing their own shaky ground. And right in the middle of all this tension, verses 77 and 78 arrive with this profound sense of calm and reassurance. The message is just so clear. Any harm people try to cause is, in the grand scheme of things, limited and temporary. And why is that? Because God's knowledge is absolute. He hears every whisper, knows every secret plan, and sees everything done out in the open. It's a powerful reminder of who is ultimately in control. So the opposition often tried to paint a false picture of the prophet, right? Calling him a sorcerer or saying he was just out for personal gain. So how does the revelation clear the air and define his actual mission? Let's take a closer look. Verse 79 lays it out with perfect clarity. His mission was simple, to be a warner and a bringer of good news, a messenger. That's it. And what's really crucial here is what he was told to say he wasn't. He had no knowledge of the unseen, no power to bring benefit or harm on his own. This distinction was so important because it made it obvious. His purpose was pure, just to deliver God's message, with zero personal power or profit involved. Okay, so we've walked through the external struggle, the arguments, the challenges, the clarifications, but the guidance doesn't just stop there. It makes this amazing pivot away from public debate towards a kind of proof that's way more personal, way more universal. So where do you think we find it? And here it is. We are now shifting our focus from confrontation to contemplation. The revelation tells us to just look inward, to look at the undeniable everyday miracle of our own existence and the way families are made. Verse 80 just walks us through the journey of life so beautifully. It starts with all of us coming from a single soul, then the creation of a partner, a spouse, to find security and comfort with. And then it captures the stages of pregnancy, that light burden at the beginning, how it grows heavier, and then that profound prayer that every parent knows in their heart, asking for a good, healthy child. This whole process is laid out as this intimate, personal sign of God's incredible power and mercy. So from that specific miracle of birth, the perspective now zooms out. we start looking at the bigger theme of divine wisdom and how it operates in all the different outcomes we see in our lives.
And this touches on such a deeply human and sensitive question, one that people have been asking forever. Why is it that some are blessed with children, while others who want them so badly remain childless? Verse 81 takes this question head-on, guiding us towards an answer that's rooted in a much deeper wisdom. The core insight here is that these outcomes aren't just random chance or meaningless. The verse teaches us that it's God, based on his divine will, who makes some fruitful and others barren. Now, that's a really profound statement about his complete sovereignty and knowledge. It's really an invitation for us to trust in a wisdom that goes far beyond what we can immediately see or understand. And the verse ends with this powerful, definitive statement: "Indeed, Allah is knowing and competent." This is so much more than just a concluding phrase. It's the very foundation of trust. It's this deep reassurance that behind everything, every joy, every challenge, there is an infinite knowledge and a perfect competence orchestrating it all with a purpose. So as we wrap this up, think about the journey we've just taken. We went from the intense public confrontations in Mecca all the way to the quiet, private, sacred space of a growing family. What this shows us so brilliantly is that the signs of guidance aren't just in one place. They're everywhere. They're in our biggest struggles and in our simplest blessings, out in the world and in the most private moments of our lives. So I'd like to leave you with this thought to carry with you. After reflecting on this journey from public defiance to private creation, we have to ask ourselves, how can we apply these lessons? How can we find strength when we face our own challenges? And at the same time, how can we truly cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for all the miracles woven into our everyday lives?